Zeni VR! Maybe you've heard of them? Not to be confused with the optical company that goes under a similar name, Zeni VR makes full-body trackers. You may have seen them advertised in a variety of VRChat worlds. At first glance, they might seem like a good option for full-body tracking, but if you were to ask me, I would say they most definitely are not. I don't think they're a good value for your money, and I also think the company behind them is a little bit shady. If you don't care anything about the actions behind a company you're buying from, the biggest thing you can take away from this video is Zeni's price. It's just bad. Zeni VR is what I like to call a third-party SlimeVR manufacturer. SlimeVR themselves make trackers, but a big part of Slime is also their open-source hardware. Anyone is free to make and use trackers that run on Slime software. This includes people looking for a DIY project, and also people looking to sell to other people. Now obviously it tends to be a little bit cheaper to make your own, but you can also get some pretty good deals from these third-party entities. Not from Zeni though, cause what the hell is this pricing? $185 for 6 points of tracking with LSM6 DSO IMUs. That probably means absolutely nothing to you. So let's compare Zeni's pricing to some pricing of trackers that can be found on SlimeVR's marketplace. $185 from here, $144 from here, and the cheapest I've seen any for is $100 from here. There's also plenty of other sellers around on Slime's marketplace. Not Zeni though, cause they're banned. At first glance, Zeni's pricing doesn't look all that bad. And it still doesn't look that bad if you don't know much about slime trackers. But it is bad. Really bad for two reasons. The first is that all the trackers shown are 6 points of tracking, but Zeni's 6 points are different. See, in Zeni's cheapest set, which is the one we were talking about, you get 3 trackers and 3 extensions. Extensions are really different from main trackers since they're literally just an IMU connected to the main tracker with a wire. There's no battery, no motherboard, and they use a much smaller case. All of the other trackers shown are 6 full trackers. To make things even worse, every other tracker mentioned is using LSM6 DSV IMUs, not DSOs. DSVs provide a much higher quality experience that's a lot more in line with what you would get with official slime trackers, whereas the DSOs are a little bit cheaper at the expense of drifting more frequently. When buying Zeni's lower tiers of trackers, you are paying more money for less actual trackers with worse drift times. Of course, they have plenty of other sets available, but there's quite a few, so let's take a look at just one. Their 7+3 B&O set, $535. SlimeVR Official's 7+3 set of B&Os is $350, and Eros, which is a tracker that does a lot of stuff others don't, causing the price to be higher when compared to other stuff, is $500 for a set of 10. I really don't understand why Zeni costs as much as it does. Extensions are cheaper to make than full trackers. If they're buying things in bulk, which they should be, considering they should be moving more units than other sellers with the amount of ads they run, they should be getting a discount on components. And they aren't really any higher quality than other sellers. In fact, I'd argue that they're significantly lower quality. Just take a look at some of these casings. Tons of surface defects, and some of these cases aren't even aligned properly. Please, if you want a third-party SlimeVR tracker, just join Slime's Discord and look in the marketplace. The community there is extremely welcoming, and if you're confused about anything, they'll point you in the right direction. So besides having just kinda bad prices, Zeni is what I see as a little bit shady. What even prompted this video in the first place was ZeniVR initiating a copyright takedown against one of my videos not even about them, over me showing their website and ad for a total of 9 seconds. The video's back up now, but they still pissed me off enough to dig into them a little more. Something that really stuck out to me in my emails with them was they were really mad that I associated them with ZeniVR. They mentioned it in 2 out of 3 of their emails to me. Zeni claims that their only association with Ozzy was for the creation of their website. I believe that to be entirely false, and I think they lied to me. First, in what world would you have one of your competitors make your website for you? Second, why did the owner of Ozzy VR join my Discord server for a total of 35 seconds during my private interactions with Zeni? And finally, I still find it a little bit weird that after all the Ozzy ads went down, Zeni ads started popping up in their place. That stuff alone wasn't really enough for me to claim this in a video though. In my pissiness, I posted a video to TikTok asking people to tell me about negative experiences they've had with Zeni. I got quite a few people sharing their stories. In particular, one person's account really stood out to me. They were describing how they were trying to get a return from Zeni, and after messaging with them a little bit, they sent me the exact instructions that Zeni sent them. The first thing that stood out to me here was the shipping address, which I'm censoring for hopefully obvious reasons. I've been talking a bit with someone who knows a lot about Ozzy, and without seeing the return address Zeni sent that person, they sent me an address they know to be associated with Ozzy. It's the same recipient, same country, same city, street, apartment number. It's the same goddamn residential address with the same goddamn person's name on it. But the only association was for the creation of their website. I reiterate, it's a residential address, not some sort of international shipping company. So it really doesn't make sense why two so-called companies would be working out of it unless they're associated with each other. That isn't even the biggest thing that stood out to me about that support interaction though. Apparently, they asked this person to falsely declare the value of their return package so they didn't have to pay custom fees on it. What? They also asked for 120 days to refund the person's money after receiving the return, which is like a third of a year and is an absolutely insane amount of time. Like I've said, I had quite a few people reaching out to me on TikTok about Zeni. Some of the more common complaints include things about their support. People were reaching out over email and live chat and just never getting responses. That's kind of an issue when your return period is 7 days after receiving the product. People were also complaining about the connectivity of the trackers. Sometimes they just wouldn't connect to the SlimeVR server, and if they did, they wouldn't stay connected for very long after that. Quality is also another common complaint. I mean, you've seen some of their 3D printed cases already, but someone also complained about a box of their trackers smelling weird, which is notable because Zeni used to print in resin. If you ask me, it's a damn shame a company like Zeni even exists. I've personally had issues with other third-party sellers in the past. The difference is there they actually made changes to make their product better, instead of trying to get negative opinions of them scrubbed off the internet. Doing so, Zeni is only further distancing themselves from the SlimeVR community, and also making themselves look like dumbasses in the process. If you've had a negative experience with Zeni, please share your story in the comments so I and other people can hear about it.